Hello everyone, it is Stacy with the Stacy Jewel Foundation, and today we are going to talk about using betrayal as fuel. Are you ready to have a seat on the couch? All right, let's do it. So today we are going to talk about how to use betrayal as fuel. One of the biggest things you have to do is stop waiting on an explanation and stop waiting on closure, because knowing the facts about it is not going to change the outcome. Just because someone stabbed you in the back and gives you an explanation about why doesn't make it good. It doesn't make it acceptable. It doesn't make it loyalty. It doesn't make it respectable. So even if you know the reason why, it's not going to change anything. So stop waiting for that closure and stop waiting for an explanation as to why someone has done what they did to you, and just learn from it and use it as fuel. Here's how. You're going to utilize and learn from every stab in the back, every smile that hit a snake, and you're going to learn from every experience so that you can visualize what happened and avoid it from happening in the future from that person and from anybody else. So people know exactly what they're doing. The anatomy of betrayal is that people calculate it. They think about what it's going to do in the end. They weigh the pros and cons prior to even doing anything that is called backstabbing or that is betrayal. People know. Don't give them the benefit of the doubt because they all of a sudden feel bad because things didn't work out the way they thought, or because they assume that you're not going to pay any attention to the betrayal. And a lot of it starts with small, minor things first, and then it builds up to the big betrayal. So you have to stay very cautious of who you have in your circle and who you have around you. Work, friends, family. Betrayal comes from anybody if you let it. But if you pay attention to it and you are aware of things that are happening prior to it, betrayal is going to be something that's going to be very hard to do to you. I've allowed so many betrayals and let so many little things go that when the big betrayal came, I could only be mad at myself, because who else is there to blame? I allowed the lies. I allowed the backstabbing. I allowed the gossip. I allowed the little talks and smirks, or the I can't make it to this, but you show up to that type of things. And after so long, people assume that it's okay to do that to you because there's no consequences, which we will get to in my third topic. But in this one, basically know this. People have calculated their steps to bring you down. They have calculated their moves to see your reaction. They know what they are doing way before they actually do it by little things that they do. You have to pay attention to that. If someone doesn't invite you to something and then says, oh, I forgot, that's a red flag. If you show up to things and people are acting differently in front of other people, that's a red flag. If someone is talking about you behind your back, that's not a red flag, that's betrayal. And if they use it as an excuse that they were upset or they were frustrated, there's more to that story. So we have all been taught that we have to forgive people in order to move forward, and we have to let things go because it's going to keep us locked and trapped into this mindset of holding people accountable. No, that is a lie. And it's hard because I'm trying to say this with a straight face, but forgiveness is surrender disguised as wisdom. It's weakness wrapped in pretty language, and forgiveness without consequences is basically surrender. Let's just keep it 100 here. If you text somebody and it takes them 2 weeks to text you back, and then you immediately reply, and then it takes them 2 weeks to text you back, and you immediately reply, and it takes them 2 weeks to text you back, you're enabling them to put you off until it's convenient for them, until they need something, until they're bored and binge watching Netflix, and then they can respond to you. And that's disrespectful. Yes, you don't have to respond to every text message immediately, but no one's so busy that it takes them 2 weeks to respond back to your message. They are not concerned about you. They're not worried about you. You're not high on their priority list. And so therefore, you're enabling them to utilize you when they need you, which is putting yourself on a back burner. And some people don't look at that as disrespectful. But let's just be honest here. 2 weeks to respond to a quick, simple message. Do the same thing to them and see how they respond. See this, do not respond to a message when they need something or they're asking you a question and they need validation right then and there, and see how they like it. It's not going to be a pretty sight when they start messaging you and telling you how bad they feel about you putting them off or how you're slow to respond, or they might just stop responding to you altogether. But at the end of the day, you don't forgive them. You don't forget. You utilize that energy and what you've learned and pay attention to how people will treat you in the future. I'm not saying sit and dwell on things that are happening, like people not responding to text or not showing up for events or not being supportive of you. But you don't forgive, you don't forget, but you don't put any energy into that either. You just let it go and use that knowledge for their future request and anybody else's. If you notice things in people early, you're able to avoid even being betrayed to begin with. If you notice lies, misconceptions, gossip, drama early, then you don't even have to deal with it. You can cut those people off or not respond or not deal with those type of situations before they even begin, before you are even wrapped up in a situation. So you always want to make sure that when you're dealing with betrayal, you're using that as fuel. You're utilizing what happened to you before, and now you're using it to pay attention to the future. When I say never forget, it's not because I want you to hold on to baggage or to allow others to control your life. But you want to know what the number one misconception is in betrayal is your memory. Your memory is the weapon that is so underrated. People don't think you remember things from 10 years ago or 5 years ago or even 6 months ago. If you're in their presence and you speak and say hello and keep moving and you're not angry or bitter, they're not thinking that you're remembering how they betrayed you 2 months ago. They're thinking, oh, she spoke to me. Your memory is the biggest weapon that you can have. And you want to utilize that. So you never forget. Weak people allow people to get second, third, and infinite chances in rebuilding relationships. Strong people never forget because they just move forward with their life. They're not holding on to anything. They're not angry. They're not holding grudges, but they will not let you do that to them again. And so what you have to understand is when people move forward without explanations or without closure, it's because they don't have time for the drama. They don't have time to sit and mix all these feelings wrapped in a bow that you keep giving or someone else keeps giving and saying, I'm sorry, I apologize, it won't happen again. And yet it keeps happening. Many people are afraid to be alone. They're afraid of that solitude, or they want to be popular, or they want to hang out with everyone who wants to hang out with them. That's weak-minded. It is. I'm sorry to say it, but if you allow anyone in your circle because you don't want to be alone, that's weak-minded. You have to be around people who are going to provide more for you, that are going to make you want to do better, be better. And sometimes, it's a little awkward at first to be around a lot of people that are quote unquote doing better than you or whatever, but you're reaching a different bar. And the higher you get, the more solitude you're going to have to be used to, because everyone's not going to understand your journey. Everyone's not going to understand your pain. Everyone's not going to understand your consequences or the things that you're sacrificing to get to where you are. So when you are allowing people to betray you and disrespect you over and over because you don't want to be alone, how far in life are you really going to get? How high are you going to get if everywhere you turn, someone is betraying you and stabbing you in the back? How can you sleep at night knowing that you're just letting people walk all over you daily? It's not easy, but it's not the life you should be living. You should be utilizing that information and letting that go. Hey, life is gonna be lifing all the time. So you have to understand that nothing's gonna be perfect. But if you allow people to continuously stab you in the back, where are you going? When you recognize the signs of betrayal, you can utilize that in your future. You can recognize those patterns everywhere. If one friend did something, now you can see that in another friend. Or if, in a work situation, if someone betrayed you, you can see that in future employment. There are signs that you pay attention to avoid betrayal. Let's just be honest here. My sister laughs at me all the time when we have conversations because she'll say, you say no to people and then you just move on. You don't even think about it anymore. And that was something that I had to practice. I used to sit and dwell like, should I help them? I said no, but maybe I can find time in my busy schedule to do this or to do that. And I would dwell on it and it would drive me crazy because I knew I didn't have the time. I knew it was only someone who wanted to be, to use me basically. And I would still try to fit them into my schedule. And now if I say no, I absolutely mean no. If you say, can you help me with this? And I say no, I'm not even going to think a second more about it because I know I can't do it and I'm not going to waste my time. If you've betrayed me in the past and you want my services or you want to spend time with me, I'm most likely not going to do it. I give people a chance. Previously, I've given people multiple chances and they've showed me who they were and I kept trying to make them something that they weren't. Now I walk away. I don't discuss it. I don't try to figure out what happened. I don't need to have a closure conversation like I used to. I am completely done. When someone betrays you, learn from it, process it, don't forget it, don't forgive for it, and use it as fuel. Use that fuel to help yourself in the future. Use that fuel to go further. Use that fuel to learn from your mistakes, not others' mistakes. Use that fuel to be the best you can be. Because guess what? When you keep sitting back and allowing people to disrespect you, they're going to continue to disrespect you until one day you blow up and all of a sudden you're the crazy person. If you keep allowing people to use you, they're going to keep using you until one day you tell them no and it's, you never do anything for me. When you utilize betrayal as fuel, you learn from it, you move forward, and that is the best thing you can do for yourself. You're learning from your mistakes. You're learning from others' mistakes. You're learning about what you're accepting and what you're not accepting. If you are who you are, be that person all the time. Be that person every single day. Be that person 100%. Because guess what? The moment that you're not is when the betrayal sneaks in and people start using your weakness for their gain. If you are sympathetic one day because you're like, oh God, okay, this happened and I have to forgive them. I understand. It's okay. But don't let them do it again. Because the moment you do, that is going to be the cycle of your life. Utilize your fuel to grow and to build. I've had tons of people tell me I'm mean. I'm stuck up, I'm selfish, I'm self-centered because I want to meditate or because I want to not spend all my time helping you do something because I have something to do, because I want to rest, because I don't want to go to parties anymore. And my purpose and my growth is learning and building. And my idea of fun is not getting sloppy drunk and passing out at a club. Now I'm selfish. But when I was doing those things with you, I was a great person. So you have to utilize all of the information that you gain from people and take it as fuel. What I want you to take from this video is that when you learn things and you utilize them, you grow. I'm not wanting people to sit back and be angry and bitter and upset. No. I want you to move forward. I want you to close those doors. I want you to be happy. And in doing that, you are utilizing what has happened to you and growing from it, which means you are using betrayal as fuel. You are not sitting back and just letting people do whatever they want to you. And they're going to tempt you. They're going to tempt you to be angry, to be frustrated, to cuss them out, to yell, to scream because they want that energy and that reaction. But when you just move forward without even saying anything, people wonder. They're going to guess, what is going on here? She's not doing her normal cussing me out and yelling and screaming, or she's not saying anything. So where's that energy going? It's going towards producing what you want to produce. You are allowing yourself to grow and build off of what things might have caused you to be in the bed for 2 weeks because you're so sad and depressed that a friend has done something to you. No, you're going to get up, you're going to go do your day, you're going to move forward, and you're not going to forgive and you're not going to forget, but you're not going to put any energy into that situation anymore. You're not going to answer text and calls and respond and do all these things you were doing. Guess what? It's over. They betray you. It's time to move forward. Now you have more time for people that you want to spend time with and that you want to engage with. Let it go. Use it as fuel. So in ending, this is why you want to utilize betrayal as fuel, because you do not want to get into the same type of relationships and trust the same type of friends or the same type of girlfriend or boyfriend and go through the same cycles because you forgave and forgot. If you utilize what you've learned, you can see a snake before they even try to strike. If you have had issues with business partners, you don't want to get into the same situation with another business partner. You don't want to get into the same relationship with coworkers. You don't want to get into the same situations over and over again because you forgave and you forgot. Forgiving and forgetting is for weak people. I'm not afraid to say it, and I'm not gonna expect backlash from it, but you have to utilize your betrayal as fuel. Some people say, well, if I don't forgive them, I'm going to think about it all the time. You're not supposed to think about it all the time. It's something that you place in the back of your mind and utilize when the time is right. When you're around certain people and you see those same signs of someone who betrayed you, get away from them. If you are in a relationship and you see the same person who cheated on you over and over and different people, why are you even spending time with that person when you see the signs? Utilize what you have learned from your betrayal as fuel and build on it and get away from those people so you don't even have to go through those betrayal options again. This is why you have to be a strong-minded person to utilize your betrayal as fuel, because weak people are going to go ahead and forgive, and they're going to go ahead and move forward, and they're going to go ahead thinking that life is okay and everyone's great. It was just that one person, and you're going to meet different people and you're going to go through the same things over and over again in life because you let people treat you wrong. Stop. It's time to grow. It's time to utilize, and it's time to learn. And there's nothing wrong with taking a bad situation and learning from it. I hope that this helps someone some way, somehow. And if you are going to grow from this, type in grow in the comments. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day.